fishing is really one of the most interesting sports that you have out there. It's a game of total highs and lows, of moments on top, the moments when you think you have it all figured out, and the moments when you have no clue. But the thing is that's interesting about tournament fishing, and one thing I've learned, is that sometimes it's the worst experiences and the worst tournaments that teach you some of the most valuable lessons. And this tournament on High Rock Lake, it was one of those hard lessons. The thing in fishing that's always been interesting to me is when guys say that you can't win them all. It's something that we've heard all the time. Everybody has a bad tournament. You know, you're gonna have those bad ones. You know, you can't win them all. You don't always figure it out. Really growing up, and when I first started in tournament fishing, I didn't really like that idea. The idea of you're not gonna win them all. I say, why not? You know, maybe you're just not good enough, but I'm going to. And I was, fortunate enough in the opens as a co-angler to have a lot of success early. And so when I jumped into the BFLs, I assumed that success would carry over, that I'd just keep on winning, keep on having success, keep on cashing checks every event, and that it'd be easy. And it really wasn't. The first year out there really was a humbling experience. But in the back of my mind, no matter how bad I did, I always had some excuse. There was always a reason why I didn't catch them that week or on that fishery. Either I didn't get any practice, or my boat broke down, or I didn't have a unit and the fish were offshore, or yada yada yada. The list goes on and on and on for why I didn't catch them. And this tournament here, this BFL in the midsummer of High Rock Lake, that's where I really learned what that really means when they say you do not always figure them out. And I had no excuses.
And no
You know how many boats are in this tournament? 101? Still whack them, hopefully. Do everything we can. I really didn't know much about the lake going into it, and for the first time I decided really to not do any research. I said, look, I've got it figured out. I know this whole fishing thing, and I'm gonna fish the way I wanna fish. I'm just gonna go fishing. I'm not gonna look at anything. I'm not gonna look at the maps, the data, the baits, anything. I'm just gonna go fish what's in front of me. Coming into the Thursday and Friday before this BFL that I was gonna get 2 solid days of practice, I figured it's gonna be tough, but it's gonna be doable. And nothing could be further from the truth.
If you had any luck with topwater?
I really feel like it should work. In 2 days, I did not get a single keeper bite. 0, not one. I said, well, it's probably gonna be just a brutal, tough tournament. I remember I got back in, towards the dock at the end of the last day of practice, and some of the people who had been practicing out there were coming in, and I was saying, man, it's gonna be tough, and this other guy was saying, yeah, I mean, but he said, hey, they caught him good in that BFL here last week. And I said, huh. And normally that's the kind of thing I would have known. Normally I do that kind of research and I would know that there's tournaments, but I had no idea that there had been a BFL there the week before. So I said, well, you know what? I'll go ahead, I'll look it up, I'll just see what the winner used to win and maybe get a little bit of a clue on what it's gonna take to do well here. But I'm like, you know what, let me just look at the weights. In my mind, I'm thinking, my goodness, 12, 15 pounds might win this tournament. It might just take a keeper to get a check with how tough it was on me. And I look at the results from the week before, and it says 22 pounds to win. Second place, 22 pounds. 21, 21, 20, 20, 20, 20, 19 3/4, 19 and a half. It took almost 20 pounds to get inside the top 10 and almost 16 pounds to get a check. And that was when I knew I did not have a clue. One on the fridge and I broke one off on it. So they might have been catfish. They were on a drop shot, so I doubt it.
Catfish.
On a freaking drop shot. You can tell by the way it was biting. Something wasn't right. It's a bite. Got the edge.
I got one. Awesome. Oh, good one. Real good.
Yes!
All right. That's 4. Maybe more. That's a big one. Good job.
And I was lucky enough to get one good fish pretty early in the day. You know, within 1 or 2 hours, I got a 3.5 pounder in the boat.
Carolina rig, huh?
Yep.
Which, just having a fish after all that had happened was huge.
Dude, he was going peck, and it kept going slack, and he swallowed it, but I kept lifting up, and he wasn't there.
So I said, you know, if this is all we got to do, we're going to fish these points, we're going to fish these offshore structures that are a little bit shallower, and we're just going to go fishing. That's all we can do.
Never going anywhere but offshore all day.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he's probably 3.5, right?
Yeah. Dude, I just wanted one, and I'd feel amazing. And I do feel amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, God.
Good job, buddy.
And so, ran around a little bit more, tried a few other places. My co-angler caught one. Then I picked up a crankbait, rolled up on a shallow spot way up a creek, shallower offshore structure piece, and catch another one. Not on camera, unfortunately. It was almost a 3.5 pounder. And so, you know, it's fairly early, and I'm looking fairly decent.
Keep your Carolina rig handy. I don't think we're going shallow ever again.
Nope. I'm fine with that.
Because I have not had a single keeper in 2 days.
And what
So-
were you casting to?
Just the point, like my waypoint. I think I marked a little bit of rock and a few fish out here, maybe 1 or 2 isolated out here. But it was just up and there's rock, and it was going boop, boop, like a little one, like a tiny one, and then it like kept going slack. It was weird. He must have had it the whole time, and then I'd lift up, and he finally
felt him.
Yeah.
And it was here where I made a critical mistake. You know, I'd fished pretty much all the major structure in this one creek, and I decided, you know what, maybe they're biting today. Maybe that's all it is. Let's go fishing all my other stuff that I've graphed and looked at. And so we start running around, start running Main Lake, and we just don't get any bites. We run around. Finally, I roll up on this little island, and I'm cranking my crankbait down, and it loads up.
Dude, that might be a fish. Yeah, it's a fish.
Awesome.
It might be a big one. Oh, come off!
Oh, no.
And it comes off, you know? There we go.
I never even got to look at it. Dang it. That sucks.
That was it. Never had another bite. That was all we had.
The trailer weighing?
No, what's your boat number?
45.
Here.
Thank you.
Yours first?
Doesn't matter to me.
That's a good one.
That's the small one too. This is the bigger one.
Yeah, that's real nice.
Money tap, 2 bags. Fishing as a coangler. 2-2. Yes, sir. Jack Dice, 2 bags. He's fishing as a boater. Good job of keeping those fish alive. I don't know if we're going to get the weigh or not. 7 pounds and 3 ounces, 7.3. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And ended up finishing the event in the 60s, around 66th place, I believe. And it was pretty brutal. The thing was, that tournament was kind of a low point for me. You know, I've been fishing these BFLs for a while, and I just hadn't had that much success. In 2 years, I'd only cashed a few small checks, and really had been kind of struggling, you know, just getting by and you know, just getting a little bit burnt out. I mean, just when you fish, and I poured so much intensity into these tournaments, and to have an event where I had 2 full days of practice, plus a scouting day, plus everything working, because normally everything breaks, and to still not have success, it was time that I learned that lesson, and find that it really is true what they say: you can't win them all. I don't care if you're Kevin Van Dam, I don't care who you are. You can't win every tournament, you won't figure them out every time. And that's a lesson that was hard for me to learn. I wanted to be the exception. I wanted to be the guy that always catches it. I don't care when. And for me, it was kind of a sense of pride. And so to have it knocked down and just say, for me, I gotta rely on God first. That's where I come from in these tournaments, is saying, God, I'm gonna put you first. And this was the tournament that kind of taught me that you can't do it on your own. And when you try, you're just gonna fail. And you have to accept that no matter what, you're gonna have some failure. And especially in the game of fishing, there's nothing more. And so, though it was the lowest point of my season, the lowest point that I've been in a while in fishing, just burnt out, tired, defeated, looking back on it, hindsight being 2020, it was one of the best experiences to have, and one of the best lessons to learn moving forward into the other events. So stay tuned, guys. We got more tournament videos coming. I've got more tournaments that come up, and this year gets a lot better. So stay tuned, because the tide starts to turn, and it starts in the next event. So stay tuned for the next episode of Up and Coming. I'm Jack Dice. I'm from Obsessed Fishing, Tight Lines. God bless. We'll see you next time.